Q was so enticed by Janelle, it tells me, Negro, your balls were talking. And the way that Janelle was infatuated by Quentin, your Pussoir was talking. This is a Pussoir and a Delash situation. What we're describing between Janelle and Q is a Delash situation where people are excited with their bodily parts, and that's why we're in the situation we're in. Right? That's why we're in the situation we're in. So for me, I'm looking at the whole season and how Q was defending Janelle the whole way through, or at least when I say defending, let me not use those words so heavily. Where at one point I felt like the way that Q handled Janelle's situation, especially when she was confronting the rest of the gang, the way he kind of defended Jessica and Janelle, I was a little bit disappointed. I was like, okay, so this guy is just fully going to be defending them and not really speaking up. And if you can't see anything wrong with what Janelle and Jessica were doing, again, it reminds me of the Brown Girl Squad all over again when we had Naeem and Zadia, and then we had also Cornelius and Camille. And look, when you sit in your wrong, people are going to support you when they like you. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying to you? It's the same thing that we saw with Camille and Zadia and Naeem and Cornelius. Even when people are telling you your behavior is out of bounds, you know, and when they tell you it's out of bounds, you still find the person doing stuff, as trying to defend their behavior by saying, I'm not this way. Like, let me give an example, right? Uh, Even like, for instance, the Camille situation, right? Let's say the show edited her badly, right? And me and Kim were cool. So this is not me trying to rehash anything, but I'm sure I'll probably get a message later on. But anyway, me and Camille cool, right? But even during the Camille season, let's say she was edited badly. Cool. She was edited badly. She's not that way. Da 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 da. Why am I getting added on Instagram on several occasions on your stories? Getting called out. I'm just blogging. I'm just reporting stuff. Why am I getting called out? Why am I getting cussed out the side of my neck? You understand? Then you realize the same thing you were doing on the show, you're doing it in real life. People are not changing who they are. So when I see Quentin going after Janelle and then people are going, well, someone like Janelle might be trying to deny her behavior. She hasn't necessarily denied it because she hasn't really come out and said that, but it's not editing at this point. And I see this every single season. And now we're towards the end. It's good to have this conversation. It's not editing at this point. You are who you are. And the same thing happened with Janelle. Janelle left the show, not even left the show, but outside the show, ended up going to another woman's house. Right? It's very rare to find somebody that is very different to what the show edited them. Because I keep saying it, the show edits you because they know your story already. Now, people don't like that because they believe they're different to their actual story and narrative. Let me be real with you. Some of y'all don't actually know how you look. That's why you don't realize. So when the show shows you a part of your behavior, you're like, that's not me. I was edited in a particular way. As you know, and the thing is, I keep saying it every season, you ain't edited in a particular way. They know how you are. Now, of course, they may set you up. They may manipulate the situation to make this come out. They may do certain things. But one thing about these shows that they are is that they've done the work already. They've done the work on you. They've done a psychological test on you, and they know exactly what you are. So in this instance, I'm looking at Quentin. I'm looking at Janelle. Janelle is Janelle, right? She's a fighter. She likes to get involved, gets her hands dirty. Listen, she'll put hands on you if she needs to. Okay. My thing is, why was Quentin so enticed to stay in that situation? To a point where he wants to cover that woman. Right? So it don't matter in her voice. To a point, Quentin wants to stay in that situation. The TikTok that I saw, I need to even try and find if someone's got a link. Actually, sure, I know Sean can put in a link for me because I can't access my Instagram from my new laptop because I've not set that up yet. But I would love to show you guys the TikTok because, like, and I see you, Jay. I'm gonna bring you on in a second. I love to show you the TikTok because that TikTok, when I watched it, I was like, this is kind of, uh, uh. He made another TikTok about how she quit the show, and I was a little bit like, this is the kind of stuff that when we call you out for your behavior, thank you, Sean. Oh wait, no, Sean, you have to bring it onto this chat because I can't see my Instagram at all from my laptop. I want to be able to link it. But if you put it in a private chat, then I can do it. But yeah, no, it's like yeah, no, so it's like, and I saw it and I was like, why are we doing stuff like this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're coming out, we're putting a TikTok talking about Lee. There's another one where he did a TikTok and he was kind of mentioning Lee, but wasn't mentioning being very, yeah, you know, very, very, very sly about it. And it's like, oh, you know, oh, someone said every time I said a new laptop, you're right, guys, because I've had it. You know what I mean? So the processing power is not as powerful as my first laptop, so I'm gonna have to definitely heal the second laptop up. But anyway, yeah, so it's like, for me, it's like, you guys are two peas in a pod. Now, if we start calling you out for the bitchy behavior that you're doing, I don't want to hear you crying about saying you got edited in a particular way. If you're acting bitchy, we're gonna say you're acting bitchy. And in this particular instance, Quentin acting kind of sassy, right? You're joining in with women to get out of a woman. Nah, bruh, come on, bro, right? Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's not just Quentin or anything else. It's not just them. There's other people too who have similar things, right? Most people on the show, when they see themselves, they don't realize they're that particular way. You know, it's a bit like, okay, for instance, even watching, like, for instance, watching Phil on the show. Watching Phil on the show in DC, when I met him, he's the same kind of guy. He's a nice guy. You know what I mean? He's just a nice guy. I mean, he had many contacts on the show because he has many contacts in the real world. This is the reality of the situation. Like, you're not gonna change what they're not gonna change. You're not gonna change who you are. You get what I'm saying to you? So, yeah, in that particular instance. But yeah, their date with the cousin. Of course, the cousin's gonna like Janelle, like, because you sold him the dream about what you said, and of course he knows that you like it, right? He knows that you like that kind of person because you sold that dream to him. Your cousin ain't got a choice, B. You know, you're just like, and to be fair, Janelle is as Chris even said, she's a salesman. She knows how to sell herself. She knows how to really, uh, you know, knows how to really market herself very well. So I'm not mad at that. She knows how to present herself well, and I respect that. That takes an art, it's a skill. You know what I mean? You have to be able to, you have to be able to understand that part, right? Um, so yeah, no, it's just interesting to watch their connection and see how it's gone the way it's gone, and to know that it in that particular way, y'all, you've I just don't know. I feel like they've wasted time with this particular relationship. You know what I mean? And another thing also, we need to have a real question. I don't know if Quentin will ever do any interviews. We'll see. I'll holler at him and see if we can. But the older woman situation is interesting. And remember, I told you guys, I said in the beginning of the season, when he started talking about his ex-wife, girlfriend, and then he had a tattoo on his finger, I said, I don't like it. I said already, I did not like it. I said, even the tattoo, I did not like it. Thank you, Sean. I said, I did not like it. I did not like it at all. Yeah, let me share this. Okay, I'm gonna try and bring you this guy's TikTok so you guys can see it as well. But yeah, I was like, oh no. Oh no. Let's not do this. This is one of two. There's one of two here. So let's bring this up. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm gonna show you the TikTok that I was talking about. 'Cause I was like, wait, what is going on from Quentin? This situation, I'm gonna need you to relax, bro. You know, okay. There we go. There we go. Fantastic. Look at that. Oh, look at that. I'm not even struggling. The new laptop is doing what it needs to do. You know what I mean? I knew the new laptop would bring the prowess it needs to bring. Look, I'm not even struggling right now, guys. You know what I mean? I put the thing there. It's not doing get till I get there. Do you know what I'm saying? I've really been suffering the last few months, guys. Okay. You know, but keep sending your donations in. I need to buy some new lights and some new cameras, guys. Okay. All right. We appreciate y'all. Let's get let me just show you the TikTok real quick. All right, guys, let me just show you the TikTok real quick. All right. Her sister
was a witch, right? Hold on. This is my favorite. Hold on. Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess. The Wicked Witch of the East, bro. I'm gonna stab him. You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong? My favorite. She wore a crown and she came down in a bubble, dog. I'm not fighting with you. Grow up, bro. Grow up.
I'll let you watch it one more time because let me tell you.
Hold on.
I'll slow it down so you can see.
Hold on. Her sister was a
her competition. We weren't compatible, he says, right?
Witch, right? And what was her sister?
And where was her other connection? Damn.
A princess.
Gone.
The Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
Weeks ago, bro.
I'm gonna stab him. You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me.
He says you're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong. Jesus Lord. This actually bad, you know.
Am I wrong? My favorite. She wore a crown and she came down and
he says she's a queen and we've had a connection the whole show.
The bubble, dog. I'm not fighting with you. Grow up, bro. Grow up.
Now somebody lying because either there was a connection this long or there wasn't. Somebody lying. Somebody is lying. Yeah, the voice is not his voice, but it's not the voice we're looking at. We're looking at the commentary that he puts over the top of it. He actually changes it specifically to be about Ready to Love. You get me? So the question we have to ask now, somebody's lying. Somebody is lying because either Lee had a connection on Nah or she didn't. And I'm not going to be real with you. I think there's a bit of lying on both sides. I think there's a bit of exaggeration on both sides. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I like Lee. I think she's amazing. I think she's great. But I said it in my reviews. Lee got a bit of an ego. I'm just going to be real with you. I know she don't like that because she, I saw her comment on my page and I'm not mad at it, but I'm just going to be real. Lee got a bit of an ego, okay? She knows she's pretty. You know what I mean? She knows she's fine, but I got to be real. I think there's on both sides. There's some delulu. Okay, there's some delulu on both sides. Okay, so that's something. Okay, let me play the second one. Okay, so people can't understand what's going on. Okay, in the video, yes, it's a voiceover, but he puts, as you can see, it's highlighted. So when it says "grow up," okay, let me zoom out there so you can actually see it, right? So he puts words up. So even though some of the words are still the same, he changes them to be specific to mention, to mention that about the Lee situation, but he doesn't mention Lee's name. He mentioned the fact that the person's only other connection was gone weeks ago, but he's the one that's crazy. They think they're a queen, but they still have a connection. That's what he was doing, right? So he was kind of coming at the Lee situation. Yes, absolutely, Jay, defending the Janelle connection that he had, right? So it's one of the ones where it's a little bit of a shot at Lee. I'll be honest with you. You know what I mean? But he's not calling her a witch specifically. He changed the words on there. You get me? Maybe I'll put the link in so you guys can watch in your own time because clearly it's missing everybody. It's missing everybody. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Y'all can watch it on your own time. Okay. Let me just put this into the chat with my new laptop. There we go. All right, cool, fantastic. Let's go to the next video. I'll play that so you guys can see that as well. Right. So he actually, this is new because I didn't even see this video. I didn't even see this one. This is a new one. I did not see this video, guys. So we got another video of Quentin talking about the Lee situation. I did not know this. I haven't watched this one, guys. Is it gonna be bad? Ah, damn. It's gonna undo me. All right, cool. So here it is. It's another one that he did. Let's play this video here.
Players fuck up. Players fuck up all the time. I was pissed.
Okay. So was he pissed or not? What? What is that? What is that about, bro? You know what I'm saying? Now you're saying that the voiceover says players F up all the time, and he said he was pissed. Yeah, it's not given. So was it so this is why I get confused. So this is why you double speaking. See what I'm saying? This is why I get frustrated. Now you double speaking. Did you have a connection with her or not? Do you get what I'm saying to you? Did you have a connection with her or not? I'll play it one more time, but did you have a connection with her or not?
Players fuck up. Players fuck up all the time. I was pissed.
So that he put the context, the context as when Lee self-eliminated. So then wait. So which one is it, Cap? Were we frustrated or not? So, and are we saying that we're actually a player in this situation? It's not giving. It's not giving. It's not giving, Cap, what you thought it was giving. You know what I mean? This is quite an interesting situation. Yeah. It's looking a bit tight, really. It's looking a bit tight, really. It's looking a bit tight, really. Yeah. Anyway, let me get my panelists on because clearly, we gotta talk about the whole show, and I don't want to take up all the space today. But crazy things are happening. Let me bring on my panelists on. Yes, JJ. I see you there, Sean, as well. Fantastic. Loving the look. Oh, baby. Okay, Jay. Focus. Yeah, so let me be professional with my new laptop. All right, so talking obviously about Ready to Love. This particular episode was loaded with different things that were happening. We saw Janelle and Quentin, Aries and Phil, and we saw Morier with his two connections with Kat and Jessica. Let's tackle, obviously, because I was already talking about Quentin and Janelle. Let's continue that conversation onwards as well. So, Jay, from your perspective, obviously, watching them in this particular episode, what did you feel was going on in the realms of Quentin and Janelle?
Malarkey, full on BS. Like, I mean, I'm trying to watch it from a standpoint of that they actually do have a connection. I feel when I watch this much, I do feel Quentin is into Janelle quite a bit. He's quite smitten. She's quite giddy, she says, or whatnot. But it's giving that y'all have a lust for each other, that y'all smashed, and Quentin wants to continue. But I can't believe anything Quentin wants outside of getting back in Janelle's pants, because if you're willing to take that she wants to tell you she's going to give you 1.5 kids and you want 3, and you were saying, okay, well, I'll release the rights of natural born kids and just adopt, I can't trust you. And then on top of her, she's basically saying she gonna gift a child because she gonna do him a solid by giving him a baby. When? Because you have to be, according to you, you have to be married like yesterday. So how much time is you gonna do it? Because he only has a year window to get married. Y'all have a honeymoon, have a baby. Y'all still don't know each other within that time. So you want to bring a whole nother life into the situation. So in about 3 year span or less, y'all breaking up and now the kid is living in a broken home. That's what we want to do. I just want these two people to be honest and just say, hey, I like you, but as far as a real serious relationship for a lifetime thing, this is not going to work. But until I find my actual partner, we can do what we doing. Why waste each other's time? Janelle, out of all people, shouldn't be wasting her time. She wants a baby like yesterday. She don't have no time to be playing around with Q. Q got time. She don't have no time. So I don't even know why she want to waste her time and go to this far as to the bridge to say, I choose you. So by the time we get to reunion, we no longer together. For me, Q has a perfect out. we're not aligning in the first place. And so we know that his ex said he says he wants relationships. He wants relationship, but his ex said he don't want commitment. So this is a perfect situation for Q. I can get the relationship without the commitment. Because what are we committing to? We're not aligned for anything more than a good time. So y'all have it. By reunion, we'll be done. That's all I got with these two.
Definitely hear that. Definitely, 100%. Sean, talk to me, man. Quentin, Janelle.
Yes. What's up, everybody? So, yeah, no, I think after watching those TikToks that they're more alike than we know. And, you know, just to add a little more color, because I know some people were still trying to like understand what those TikToks mean. They're not direct, you know, it's implied. So it's a way of being passive aggressive. So you're not going to see the overt message, especially in the first one where he's doing that viral meme that's going around. It's a recreation of a scene from something. And people go in and they recreate it, and then they take it and apply it to different things that are going on in their lives. So that kind of behavior is stuff that's subtle. It's little shade. It's throwing little jabs at somebody. And the second one is almost like, he's like, if y'all think I fumbled, I really didn't. That's the undertone of what could be implied from his message. So he's kind of laughing it off, right? So you could kind of read the message any kind of way you want to. He's saying, oh, it's just a joke. But you don't do that if, one, you really care about the person, because it can be misconstrued in many different ways by people seeing it. So it's his way of, you know, replying to some of the chatter that's on social media is like, oh, you fumbled the bag, because that's been the narrative since Lee walked off the show and self-eliminated, right? So I think that just shows a little bit of his character and how he handles dating, how he handles his life, how he may handle adversity. And that's the same way that Janelle does. She's very reactive, impulsive, a little on the emotional side, right? And, you know, she's going to do it in her own way. He's not, he's more passive aggressive, but still it's a very similar behavior type. So I really think they were drawn to each other because of those similarities, right? They had some common things that pulled them together, and they're going to stick it through this process, whatever that means, come hella high water. You know, they got each other's back. They're going to be each other's ride or die. Now, will we see a love relationship? No, we're not going to see that, right? Because it's not based on love. It's based on these common, not so good traits. And for me, what I see is sometimes when we aren't fully healed, we go after people that are the bad side of the mirror for us, people that don't bring out the best in us. You know I've been in relationships in the past, or situations in the past, where all we did was fight, all we did was argue, and the person didn't bring out the best in me, and I didn't bring out the best in them. So we just kind of like did that. That was the energy. In the beginning, it was fun because it's like, oh, you know, like the Bobby and Whitney song, we got something in common. Yeah, but that something in common sometimes down the line causes stress, causes friction, because you need balance in relationships. And these two don't balance each other, let alone they're at two different phases in their life. They want two very distinct different things. And you know, it's entertaining to watch, but at the end of the day, there's nothing going on here but just people playing around. And those are my thoughts.
Jump back in for us, Jay. Go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hear you, Sean, and I'm not gonna say I disagree on the videos and stuff, because I do feel they were passive aggressive hints to people. The first video, as I just watched it again, because you know me, I did not get it. It was like totally over my head. About 50 times I watched it, I was like, I'm not getting it. But as I read it this time just now, the whole thing was for Janelle. That whole first one was about Janelle, because the thing said her competition, which is Lee, we didn't have a connection. Her other connection was gone a long time ago. So that's what was confusing me on that part. So now I just figured out he's talking about Janelle as far as Red. Red was gone a long time ago. So that's the part right there. That's about Red. And at the end, he goes, she's a queen or whatever. So basically, like you said in the chat, that's his queen. That was his choice. So he's shooting fire. He's firing at Janelle. He's firing at Lee and Red passive aggressively in this thing and getting at us. Like, why we not choosing it? Because she's a queen. Like, so what? Okay, that's your queen. Be happy with her. Do you, boo, if that's what you want to do. But then why make the second post? Well, players F up sometimes. But it ends with, I was pissed. Like, you was pissed in the Lens Lounge when you found out she left too. Because secretly, that's what you really deep down wanted. But because you kept looking for a lead to give you some more spice, as we call it, you know what I'm saying? Something to make you feel like she cared about you, but she just didn't show you that outright because you weren't giving her anything. And you stuck with your alliance. That's where I'm gonna go. You stuck with your alliance and you guys made it to the end. For what? For what though?
Listen, I'm with you guys, and I think, you all, sometimes we question why some people want somebody, question why somebody wants to stay with somebody or like somebody or continue a relationship with somebody, right? And I think what Quentin kind of sees in Janelle is, I think somebody that's gonna fight for him, that's gonna fight over him, you know what I mean? And someone that's gonna kind of like, I guess, show a bit more passion, you know what I mean? Right. And I'm trying to put as positive as possible, right? So, those particular qualities that he might see from Janelle. I think what is interesting though is, I guess, maybe like Sean was saying, that unhealed part of him where you join in the pettiness and the passive aggressiveness when it comes to addressing this issue. I don't mind him actually addressing the issue because clearly there are issues to address, right? But there's a way to address certain issues, especially as a man. There's a way to address certain issues because we do not look good when we start doing what other people do. Okay, when we start doing certain things, it does not look good to us. This is when we start calling people sassy, we start calling them soft, we start calling them feminine because of the way they go and approach it, right? So there's a way to address it, but I think I'm definitely going to go back to episode 1 because I remember that conversation with Lee. Something where I remember the tattoo thing that he did on his finger and the X thing. I just can't remember exactly what it is. I need to go watch it again. And I remember I said something's not sitting right. It's just not sitting 100% right. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I like their connection at the beginning, but when he said that story about the X situation, I said, "Hey, yay!" I don't know. Something sounds a little bit off, but I think two peas are in a pod, right? As if Janelle is this combative and she is combative, so if she's this combative situation, combative person, and can be rude and can be bitty and can be snarky and snide, my question is, why would you want to be with someone like that? Unless those traits that you see, partly you mirror some of those traits and you find it familiar and comfortable to be around. Because I would feel uncomfortable knowing that you have said something, for instance, to what you said to Kira about the bag situation. I'd feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I'd feel uncomfortable knowing that my girl would want to go to another girl's house and fight her. Eventually, we're not going to work because that part of me that doesn't want that is going to want to vacate. Now, if I stay in that relationship, there's a reason why. There's an unhealed part of me that likes that. When I keep telling about I like Zadie, I like this. Yeah, there's an unhealed part of me that still likes those particular behaviors. So if I don't heal those particular areas, I'm going to be comfortable staying in that arena. But I'm also liable to also replicate the same behaviors because when two people stick together, they begin to rub off on one another. So I'm liable to also do some similar behaviors to her, which is what we're seeing with these TikToks. Because I think to myself, if you want to address Red, you want to address Lee, yeah, okay, I hear you. But I feel there's just a better way to address it. Come out and say what you want to say. Don't be passive aggressive about it. You know what I mean? Go for it, Sean.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Definitely, in order for you to stay in a situation that's visibly problematic, right? It's not even like it's like, oh, this might be a red flag, but I didn't see it coming. No, you see Janelle coming. She's a freight train, right? You're not going to miss her. She's not somebody that hides in the shadows. She does her work right up front, right? So it's a couple of things I think that are at play. One, like I mentioned earlier, and you just said, there's something in him that they share a similarity. And then the other part is people also do this, right? They see somebody's behavior, but they compartmentalize and distance it from them because they say they don't treat me that way, right? I see this person, they are abusive and they yell at people, or they have a job that's not so favorable, but when they come home, they treat me right. So it don't matter, right? It don't matter what they do to other people. I know that they treat me well, but that's all an illusion because people are not that very compartmentalized. The behavior seeps over, whether it's in a direct way or it's in an indirect way. People are who they are. And eventually over time, the mask fades and they will start to treat you the same way. She will start to handle that. If she is somebody that handles conflict, because you remember when they had that conversation about how she handles conflict, she said, I need specifics and I need evidence. That is code for I have to believe I'm wrong and I need to believe it. So you can't tell me I'm wrong or you can't call me out on my behavior unless you got to take me to court and do a full-scale presentation. That's somebody that doesn't hold accountability very well and is very comfortable in the space they are and doing things that they want to do, however it impacts other people, and they justify it. And not to keep beating this dead horse about how she wanted to go after Kat, but you see how she responded after people said to her, you were literally going to fight her? What could happen? Florida is an open carry, yeah, you can run into, she was like, listen, I run the risk. I don't care. I'm not healed, so it's the doubling down. So she's going to do the same thing. But I think in his mind, in this scenario, whatever agreement they have, whether it's spoken out loud or just understood, he's like, she won't do that to me. She won't drag me the way she's dragged those other people. She's showing me how much she likes me now. Yeah. But how long is that going to last is my question.
Real. Yes, Jay.
So I'm listening to you both as y'all speak, and I'm thinking about a few things all together as one. The scene where he was trying to sit Janelle down at the house after she got into it with Kat, his job preference now, and Sean mentioned that him being unhealed, and as you were speaking, Kojo, it was coming to me that what his unhealed trait is, it presents as healed because I'm getting he's probably a fixer or he likes projects. And for him with Janelle, that's a project. Her attitude is a project to be fixed. It's kind of like with him and his job as far as being a personal trainer and all this, that's their job is to fix a person's appearance, outer appearance, which also brings in the confidence in that person, that self-confidence for that person. I think that's probably what attracts him to Janelle so much, is that he knows she's unhealed. She knows she's unhealed. And for him, this is a new thing. Oh, we do coaching as a physical aspect, but now maybe I can do coaching on a emotional and a healing aspect of getting you together mentally or whatnot, not just the physical parts of it. So I think that's what his unhealed part of him is wanting to fix people. And when you come across somebody that presents more healed or more put together than you want, that person is no longer a turn on to you. You see, like Lee seems more put together than Jill. She's less toxic than Jill. She doesn't need to be fixed per se in that same regards. And for him, it's like, oh, I see you. I'm a younger man, so I can come in. I can make myself feel better by, I'm healing older women and their attitude. See, I can change her. And that whole conversation when he sat with Janelle lets me know that you can't do it because she wasn't even listening to you then. You just don't have the pull to do it, sweetie. That's just not the one. And I'm not saying that you don't have the pull to do it with anybody else, but with her, you don't have that pull. Janelle told you in that moment, I'm going to say what I want to say and do what I want to do. Thank you. Move around.
Mm-hmm.
And she proceeded to do what she wanted to do after the show by running up on people's house. So I think Q need to sit back and start healing himself and that part of us. Because I'm, I told y'all before, I was one of those people. I got my sisters and one of the people we like to take on projects. And after a while, that's draining. That drains you because the project will get fixed and leave you to fix yourself. So what I would suggest, Q, is just go ahead, fix yourself, make it easier yourself, and then you'll attract the person that's supposed to be for you instead of being attracted to people that just soothes that part of you that's broken.
Yeah, and I think so. There's several components here in it, right? So I feel like you're saying, Jay, it's a beautiful bringing it around about way of bringing it to this conversation now as well, because I think with Quentin, and someone mentioned it, he had a conversation with Kira, and he was saying that he's done the work, he's healed, etc., etc. But what we're seeing here with Janelle isn't giving that you're healed, right? It's giving that you're still in the healing phase, and of course, healing doesn't stop, right? But it's giving that you haven't fully learned from that, probably some past experiences. And I think what he saw was older woman. He likes older women. I think there's a deeper situation there anyway. I think there's something there as to why he likes older women. And I'm not this is not 2 years. This is like it's almost a decade between yourself and Janelle. Do you know what I mean? That's a lot of years. And I think Sean, you kind of nailed it too by saying, sometimes when you're locked in a project, and you said this, Jay, as well, when you're locked in a project mode and you're trying to Bob the Builder the situation, you think that you are the catalyst, and you also think that you are the blockage too. So right, if I'm around, she won't do X, Y, and Z. If I say this, she'll change her behavior. And I think the shock of his life happened, like you're saying, at the house, because she really wasn't going to listen to what he said. And the reason why she ain't going to listen to what he said is, number one, Janelle going to do what Janelle going to do. But number two, that she doesn't actually respect him that way. Right? How she respected him versus how we saw Herbert. We saw how she behaved with Herbert. It was considerably different. Right? Now, that's one to do with age, but that's also to do with the fact that what kind of authority do you actually carry? And so for her, looking at Quentin, she knows she can run him. And if you know you can run somebody, you're going to struggle to have some respect in a certain way, because you know that this thing can run. It don't run with Herbert the same way. In fact, she tried, and Herbert wasn't playing a game. He's not about it. He's not going to do it with you, right? So I feel like when you see Quentin and you saw him in that room at that point in time, the little Quentin came out. Like, we all saw it. It was like, whoa, like she basically told you to shut up, and you shut up. You know what I mean? Like, you just went into you recoiled and just went, no, I'm not trying to like. And I was like, blood, hey, you're like 6 foot something, all these muscles to your neck. You know what I mean? Where is the confidence? All right, where is the confidence? And so that's when you start to realize, okay, Quentin, you got a lot of work to do. Number one. Number two, I don't feel like you're looking for a mummy figure at all, but I do feel like, you know what, you might want to look a bit deeper in terms of why you keep going after older women. And you've pretty much met your match in this particular instance, even more so because this person isn't just going to listen to you. You don't look as mature as maybe you've looked in the past at other women, because maybe other women you've dated who are older than you are less mature, and so therefore your maturity looks like it's on the same level as them, and so you look like a decent specimen. This person here don't give a hoots. They don't see you like that, bro. And so it's really unfortunate to see you in that space, but it clearly, and the way that and my final point is, what I'm seeing is like, I feel like those TikToks, they're giving Janelle putting the puppet strings and not necessarily saying it, not necessarily doing it, but you begging for her validation. That's what it's giving. It's giving, I want to make you so proud. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go out there and do what I'm doing. That's what I felt like when I watched them TikToks. I'm like, this is giving you just trying to prove that, you know what, you're down for her. You want her. You'll do anything for her. Like, I'm willing to die for you kind of situation. And when you're doing that for somebody who don't care about you the same way, yeah, you're going to be a pawn on the chess piece. You're going to be a pawn on the chessboard, Yeah. Anyway, go for it, Jay. Yep.
I'm glad you reminded me of that Herbert scene and them at the table with the friend friend or family. I
Yeah.
don't remember who they were with at, and Herbert called her a thug. And I remember Q sitting there saying, yeah, she's a thug, but a lot of people can't handle her. But he was trying to convince himself in that moment. And I remember Janelle kind of just looking at him and smiling like, yeah, okay. Like, you still can't handle me either. Like, quit playing with yourself right now. Like, you're none of y'all can handle me. Janelle literally looked at him like, yeah, I'm a thug. I'm a whole thug out here. Not one of y'all can handle me. So
what? Now what?
Don't matter.
Don't
I
matter.
love what Sean said.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yes, I did remember that scene, and I forgot how it played out. I just remember that scene. But you're right. Yes, he did say the thug line. In fact, he said it twice. Herbert. You know what I mean, in terms of her behavior. So yeah, and you're right that again that Quentin did say not a lot of people can handle that, and he said that when he brought his cousin to her to say about not a lot of people can handle that too. No, when he met her friend, he said not a lot of women can handle that. And again, the question is, why do we need to handle that? Why am I needing to handle you? You know what I mean? Like, why am I having to handle you? The moment I have to start handling you, we've got a problem.
There's only one time and one place you need to be handling me. And
that's right.
That's it.
That's right. It's a certain room. In fact, it doesn't even be a room, but you know what I'm saying? A certain act. That's when I need to be handling you. Not when it's during the course of the relationship in general that I'm having to handle you. That's a problem. And that should have been a red bell for him. You know, that should have been a red bell for him. Any last thoughts on Quentin and Janelle before we shift it?
Good luck and Godspeed.
Not the Godspeed.
Well, Sean, let him go ahead and say it then, Sean. Don't matter.
It really don't. It really don't matter because these two, and we know how this one is going to end. We definitely do, because and the main thing that I'll say here, which leads me to believe it doesn't appear super genuine, because there's just no chemistry with the two of them. And I think the chemistry is that it's built on power play and dynamics, I would say, right? Because Quentin seems to be somewhat smitten with her, right? But smitten, why? Because I'm looking at this a little bit deeper. And yes, she said, oh, he's looking at me with those bedroom eyes, right? But it's not, to me, it's not the same thing. It's not a genuine attraction. It is more so like we got something in common and we have an agenda. And there's something that I can get from you and something that you can get from me. And when we think about Ready to Love, I think, the Ready to Love part is we want to see people that are really looking for a genuine connection, people that really see each other and see a future. And these two don't, the foundation, and when the foundation is off, they don't want the same things. They don't, Janelle barely wants children, biologically. And Quentin wants 3. And she's willing to adopt. I think those are two people that just need to be honest with each other versus continuing to drag things out. And I think, listen, these things happen in real relationships, right? Because we see a little something that we like, so we start compromising. And then we start folding. And then we're like, oh, but then we get caught up in the mysticism of the other little things that really are not going to carry us out long term. Whether it's the sexual chemistry that maybe he has towards her, I definitely don't see it from her to him. When she told him, I'm not kissing you until you choose me, you got to hear that language. That language is, I need you to do certain things before you earn me, before you're able to get this. And no matter what you say, whether it's sex, whether it's intimacy, whether it's physicality, nobody should be earning or going through the Hunger Games trials to get to you,
right? You can have standards, right? You know, hey, listen, I don't move that fast. You know, we're still getting to know each other. But no, she said, you don't choose until you're ready to choose me. You got to listen to what people say, because people are going to tell you what they say with their words, right? And you got to pay attention to the words that they say. She did not say, like others might have said in the past, listen, I don't move that quick, you know, easy on the kissing. I don't like to kiss. You know, those are different things, and we have to respect people's boundaries. Not until you pick me and put me in your top and you're not dealing with nobody else in a dating show process, nonetheless, where the whole goal is to date multiple people, right? She's like, don't matter, right? Until you do what I want you to do, you're not going to get these lips, right? And he was all too thrilled to get his kiss, first kiss. We'll go with the first kiss, right? Once he chose her at the bridge. So, yeah, I'm not with it. I'm not with power play. I'm not with dynamics, because it leads to mayhem. And we will see with the little teaser on the reunion, it's going to be some turning up. So keep watching. And last, I'll land my plane. When you talk about the respect part, right? And I know Aries, my friend, she got some flack, right, for what she said. But if you want to be in a healthy relationship with somebody, we say this all the time. Men, your love is great to us women, but we want your respect. And if you can feel like you can't respect me, then let me go, right? If you can't respect me, let me go. That's the right thing to do. Don't hang on to me and use me as a pawn, right? Because some people, in some scenarios, and this is a speculation, my opinion, right? In this scenario, she don't respect him, but she's holding on to him because she's using it as leverage, because she feels like she has the upper hand. And I'm done.
I just want to jump in real quick before JR go, because you said something, Sean, that we need to listen to what people say. And Q has said it even to her friend. Her age is an issue. Like, it's been an issue a few times. He keeps bringing it up, and he'll lie. And I'm saying to her friend, because he said it to Jessica at the table, but he'll lie to her close people and say, oh, we don't think about the age or whatnot. We don't think about that age factor. But to Jessica, yeah, the only concern I have is her age, because I've never dated somebody 42 before, and this, that, and the third. It's like, okay, my one big question is, what is the biggest age gap that you ever dated? Anybody, since you like older women, what does that age gap look like? If Janelle is the biggest age gap difference that you have, I understand this comment, but you keep bringing up her age as a problem, yet you still want to go down this road with her, knowing that her age is going to rush everything that y'all have going on. And you don't want commitment. You're slow to move commitment as fast as Herbert at this point. So why are y'all wasting each other's time? Y'all grown enough to say, I just want to smash and move on. Janelle looked like she will give it to you. I'm pretty sure she did, but that's neither here nor there. Go ahead, JR. I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Well, I mean, I definitely echo what Jay and Sean has said so far, and you, Coach. Like, I think the thing that stood out early on for me is the power dynamic that may come up between them, because she is very much outspoken and domineering in some of the ways she presents herself. She pretty much cut off his other connections for him, even though he was a willing participant, but she got there before he did in some of the occasions, and he was cool with that. And in the process where you're supposed to be dating and establishing other connections, I don't really feel like he took as much opportunity as he could have. He definitely dropped the ball with Lee and could have potentially had Katrina as well. But I actually wish them the best. I'm not sure how it's going to work, because I suspect it's going to be quite volatile at times, just from the interactions I've seen with her on social media and again in the ladies' lounge. I don't think it's something that she just turns on and off and she can just press the mute button on herself when she gets in her feelings. So I think he's in for a tough time. And I will say, again, like he definitely is culpable as well, because could have been so different. You had 8 other ladies to choose from, and you decide to go with that narrative of wanting to have a kid and get engaged within a year or whatever it was. I don't see that for him. You know, he does say he wants a family, he wants to have kids, but I'm not sure if Janelle, you know, and him are compatible enough for him to be reaching that conclusion. So
Appreciate you. Thank you. All right, cool. We're going to shift it now to, and you're right, power dynamics is a very real thing. We're going to shift it now to let's go fill in Aries. But before we get to fill in Aries, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. We've got 650 people in the room who are paying attention and ready to have some conversation about Ready to Love's latest episode. So if you're here and you haven't subscribed, do me that massive favor. We're trying to get to 100K before the end of the year and do the impossible. All right. And also as well, don't forget, you can join the membership. It's £1, it's $1. We have membership lives every other week. So join that too, so you can have a part of that fun as well. And if you haven't done so as well, join the Patreon, because there's a whole community there that discuss the TV shows. So when they come out, maybe sometimes you're itching, you want to have a conversation about it, you can't find nobody, that's where you need to be. Okay. Because sometimes I'd be itching, you know, some of these TV shows, and I don't know where to go. Okay, like Love Is Blind, I was itching. All right, but anyway, listen. Let's get back into the conversation, and let's continue the great talk that you guys are giving. We're talking about Phil and Aries, okay? And since we're talking about respect, that was one of the things that Aries did say about Phil. Now, I will be honest. You know, I think this situation too got dragged on. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love Aries, but it's got dragged on because, yeah, if he's unstable, he'd been unstable from the beginning. So you knew he was unstable. Okay, no amount of feet rubbing is going to rub out the fact that he's unstable to you in a particular way. Now, I get it, giving somebody time and grace to present a better plan that you might want to be able to invest in, but the brother been unstable to you, right? So, you know, I think that's been you know, I think that part was dragged on. But again, also, I'm very conscious of the fact that the show also keeps people on, and people are fulfilling their contracts, just like Quentin and Janelle. I believe they're fulfilling their contract in some shape or form too, as well. So I will give that grace. But I do feel like with Phil and Aries, it's been coming. You know, I feel like it's been coming, and I will say this. I kind of understand where Phil was coming from a little bit, right? I'm not saying that he's a perfect candidate, and I don't think she should have chosen him. I think she made the right choice. But I kind of understand him a little bit, especially the date with the parent, the mom, and the friend. It you know, when you get to a place and you feel like there's nothing good enough, I kind of understand. You know what I mean? Like it's painful to be in that situation where you're talking to somebody, you can kind of feel that nothing you're going to say is going to make sense. It's not going to work. You're not of a certain particular level, right? And the answers he gave, let me tell you this now. Aries was aware of the answers he was going to give, because you've met the kind of man who he is beforehand. So if he's apathetic about the baby mother, and if he's not going to be the diehard leader and tell you that, you know what, I'm taking decisions, you'd have known this in the conversations you had already. He already failed that test a couple of weeks beforehand. So I get where he's coming from a little bit. He might have felt some way about the way it's presented too, but there's two sides to the story. You know, I think she had every right to say no. I think she had every right to say choosing herself. I felt like, you know what, the two weren't going to blend in terms of lifestyle. I think also saying things like, you know, that someone needs to have a successful business or successful ventures. I asked the question, what is a measurement of success? Because it always comes back down to, more than likely, numbers being finances. So when you say you're successful, people tend to go back to the number one, numero uno. Did you bring finances? Unless you're running a charity, no one cares about that. But if you're running a business or a venture, they are going to look at numbers in terms of maybe people attending, and then Number 2, maybe impact on society and status that you might have gained from it. And 3, finances. Did you get some money from it? Was it consistent flow of money? Was a business viable, or the venture, was it viable? So, he's partly right, but also at the same time, I see where Aries is coming from in terms of wanting a bit more stability and having a purpose and a vision. But hey, that was my little tidbit. Let me ask you guys what you guys' thoughts were on Aries and Phil. Sean, what was your thoughts on Aries and Phil? Like, how did you see it? Yes, I chose it on purpose.
Why you couldn't just save me for the end? Like, why you gotta throw me out there? So listen, I definitely think there's two sides, so I'm gonna try to provide some balance without being biased, right? What I do see is, and I'm gonna start off with saying I can understand how Phil walked away feeling like he would never be good enough for her. And that's not, nobody wants to feel that way. Nobody wants to be in a situation where they feel like somebody thinks that they're not enough based on who they are. So I totally understand that, and I understand, how his feelings were hurt, and his ego his ego got bruised. And listen, Aries' mom's beautiful, So sometimes we look at the mothers and we're like, okay, that's the future. So listen, mom has definitely aged beautifully, but she was sharp. Mom was sharp, and she cut right to it, right? And unfortunately, Aries, her dad had passed on, about I think it was like a little less than a year or so. But the mother stepped in, and sometimes we expect fathers to come that hard, but sometimes it's the moms, and the mom got cut right to the meat of the matter, and that's what we needed to really get to see, like, what is this? Who are you? And sometimes, sometimes the truth comes out, because clearly there was something that needed to be uncovered. Now, whether we think she should have waited, whether we think not waited, whether we think she should have done it early on, whether we think she should have self-eliminated. Listen, we tell everybody to self-eliminate, but there would be no Ready to Love if everybody self-eliminated when we thought they could. The show would be done. So people are going to stay to the end, right? But it shouldn't be in other instances, like other couples that we discuss, where they're just, they're playing games. Sometimes people do this when you're dating and getting to know somebody. You hang on to kind of get to know the person. And my opinion, some may say it's biased, some may say it's not, whatever. I think that's what I saw here. I saw her trying to get to the bottom of some things that were question marks for her, and her wanting to see some clarity. And ultimately, the brother was all over the place. And that is not stability. Doesn't mean he doesn't work. Doesn't mean he's broke. It just means if we're at a certain point in our lives, and tomorrow you want to be a stand-up comedian, and I think he's an analyst in some capacity today, and that's a fairly new career for you. And now you want to jump out of that and go into something else, but there's not a clear, definite plan. So for me, those are things that's going to make someone feel uncomfortable and want to know, do you have a plan? And how I saw it is, Aries tried to give him some hints like, hey, listen, brother, I'm not putting all your business out here. I'm not calling you Dusty. I'm not talking about you like that. But hey, these are things for me. Now I need you as the man to come in and say, oh, hey, listen, I've heard you. Here's my plan. Yes, I want to do stand-up comedy. That's my passion. But what my goal is, I'm not going to leave my current job. I'm going to stay on my current job for the next 1 year. I'm saving, you don't have to tell her the dollar amount, but I'm saving X amount of money so that once so that I can tour comedy and do that on the weekends, or, blah, blah, blah. These are some of the things that I'm doing so that I continue to be successful and that I won't impact you, because that's from what I understand of women, right? They want to understand that whatever you have going on is not going to impact them. So those are my thoughts on that. And then I think lastly, this is how you understand he's not a planner. And that's something he probably needs to work better on, because when the mom did ask him, like, what is his leadership style? He started towards collaborative and then pretty much landed on, I'm going to talk to her and see what she has to say. So that's somebody that says, just like me, when Coach Joe asked me to go first, I'm like, I don't want to go first. I want everybody to go first, and then I could tag on to them, right? Because I don't really want to say it, because I don't kind of want to, come off a particular way. Right. So, and that's that with a plan. Now, I can't do that in a relationship with a plan. If my woman says, hey, listen, what's your plan, Sean? I can say, well, tell me what your plan is. No, I need to, if I'm going to be the leader, right? I'm the man, right? I need to have my plan. I need to talk about it. I need to have it well articulated and explain it to you, and then ask you, what do you think? What are your thoughts? How does this sound to you? What are some things that you think could be added or subtracted from that? That's how it should work. So I think that's what we were missing, and that's what was missing in this scenario. Well, I'm done and Kojo is gone, so whomever wants to go next.
Okay, I see JR waiting for me to give him a plan to go. Okay, so I'll go ahead and go then, since JR needs to tag off of me to figure out what his plan is. Okay. I love you, JR. I'm just messing with you. But I'm with you, Sean. Phil, for me personally, this is just for me personally, was a bit of a disappointment for a few reasons, because he seemed like the quiet, confident type at the beginning of this show. And so towards this end, I was like, where's the confidence in yourself? When you walked into that room with the mom and the sister, you walked in defeated. You was like, oh my gosh, she got 2 people here and I got to be tag team upon. Like, you didn't have 2 people at your meeting. You had your auntie and your cousin there. So what's the difference? It just shouldn't matter. When the confidence is there, when you know yourself well enough, it shouldn't matter who is in the room. I should be able to walk into the room with the president right now and still have faith in myself that I can hold a conversation with them and tell them my plan. And that's the problem. You don't have confidence because you lack the plan. And so when you walked into that room, you already knew that the questions was going to be asked of you were going to be too much. And they really wasn't too hard of questions. What's your religion? How do you view leadership? Those are not hard questions to answer when you know yourself. I should be able to walk into the room and sit there and say, Buddhism is my religion. I understand most people like Christianity, me and Aries have talked about this already. But because I am new to things and I'm still openly exploring, I'm all right with learning what she's learning. I'm all right hearing her out. I shouldn't be stumbling over. Well, we said a couple of prayers before, and I had made a prayer or whatnot. And just because I don't pray like this, this is a problem. I shouldn't be stuttering like that. I should be okay to say where I am with it. Besides that, the leadership question. How do you view leadership? Oh, I view it as a partnership. Simple. I view it as, as me as the man, I'm going to take the lead, but I do respect my woman's voice. I respect her opinion. That's not hard to answer. But when you don't have confidence in yourself and you already in a position where you think everybody's about to pick on you about something you're going to say, you're coming in defeated, and everything that comes out your mouth is not going to be reassuring to anybody around you. And that was the problem with Phil. Phil needs to sit with himself for a little while and really figure out what it is that Phil wants out of life, what Phil likes, what Phil needs, how to make Phil happy without anybody else involvement. So when he walks into the room, it doesn't matter what anybody else says to him. They can tell him up, down, and around that the sky is whatever color it wants to be. And if he feels like it's orange, it's going to be orange. We live in a world where people can identify themselves as whatever they want. Phil needs to have that confidence that he can identify himself as financially thriving if that's where he wants to keep going at it, which that was not the security point of her thing, the same security. It wasn't about the finances of it all. It's about the confidence that you have in order to run and lead a relationship. All of them ladies at the table sat there and told Phil, we love a man that leads. Meaning that you can stand on your forefront and give me good direction. I cannot trust a man without vision to lead me anywhere. And that's where Phil lacks for me, is that vision, that confidence in himself to stand his ground. And the other part that disappointed me with Phil at the end is knowing and having that feeling of not being good enough for a person, yet still want to come up to the plate and say, I choose you. Why? So you can constantly beat yourself every day in this relationship? Had she said yes, you would sit there and beat yourself up every day when something is not going right. When she brings up something that you didn't do right, you didn't take out the trash, you didn't put the toilet seat down, you didn't do this, it's going to be a constant problem because you already feel less than that person. And this is where I will stand with y'all when y'all say, if you don't want me, then don't be with me. If I feel you feel that I'm not good enough for you, for sure, I'm going to be like, I'm just not going to be with you. I don't want to be in that place where I feel less than myself. And I'm always trying to validate myself through pleasing you. Now, yes, Aries could have, I don't know what made her lead to say that she don't have no respect for him. I don't know if that was a cut from somewhere else or whatever and stuff like that. That's a good question. We need to ask her of how we got to not having any respect. But that's a big thing too. Men thrive off of respect where women thrive off of love. Now, we want our respect too as women. But if I say I don't respect a man, ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm about to be with him. I'm going to tell you this flat out now. I can't even work for a person I don't respect. I have a hard time because my mouth, y'all know me, my mouth be off the chain. So if I don't have no respect, I'm going to be off the rails with my mouth. We're going to be end up throwing hands. And I don't want to go there. I don't want to be in a domestic situation. So that spoke volumes when she said she don't have no, if that was to Phil, that spoke volumes. What I did love about Phil though, is his ability to pay attention to some things and understand that she was in a very hurt place when it came to her father. And that was a very, very thoughtful gift. I think what he should have really did is gave her that gift and gave her another gift by saying, you know what, I just feel like we're both not compatible for each other. And, you know, we can respectfully be cordial and possibly have a friendship. And you just never know down the line what it could turn into, but I choose myself. I would have preferred Phil to have chosen himself. I wouldn't have not mind both of them choosing themselves. And that was my biggest disappointment with this whole scene with Phil at the very end, is him not choosing himself. Because that just showed me that you really don't have the self-respect that you need for anybody else to respect you. And I'll land there.
I see some different points. I mean, the biggest thing for me was the lack of respect that she said she had for him at the end. Like, for someone to say, after what we've seen of their interactions on the show, how close they seem to have been getting, how much time they spend together, they were pretty much each other's only connection for the most part that we saw on the TV anyway. So for her to end with, you know, I just don't respect you, or I'm not going to be able to respect you, that was huge for me. Because like you said, we equate respect differently. We still want love, but we kind of prioritize respect probably a bit more, whereas it's the other way around for ladies. So that's a gut punch and a half. And I think where I sympathize with Phil is, I think he did honestly try to come on the show to find a connection. And I think he was open, and it exposed some vulnerabilities in, you know, when he had to open up about his work history and things like that. he wasn't able to give the reassurance. But, you know, from what we've heard from the other castmates, this guy does have a very high paying job and live in a very well-to-do area. So he is not a broke pig. He's not a bum. This guy actually does make some good money at what he does. But I agree, when he's firing things like, I want to be a stand-up comedian and all these other different things, those are not lucrative things. Those are going to come with some times where you're going to be putting out your material to empty audiences. You're not going to be making no money. You got to grind for a long time to get success in doing that. And he didn't really strike me as a comedic timing guy. I mean, probably a little better than Red, who is actually a comedian by a trade. But, you know, Phil came across as a very likable guy, but no one's perfect. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on the show. And I think his flaws were, yeah, like he a bit all over the place, like you said. But I think Aries, you know, she earns a lot of money. And if there is hypergamy in her decision making over who she dates, then he's going to be making a hell of a lot of money before she's going to be able to respect him. And with the 2 kids, and as well, he's going to have to be able to support that too. So, you know, she chose herself. I actually respect Phil for still going ahead and trying. I thought the gift was probably one of the best gifts that we've seen on any season. It was very thoughtful, sentimental. It showed that he'd been listening, was attentive, and it blew her away, you know. But it wasn't enough to sway her. The lack of respect still came out after that. So I was quite disappointed after having rooted for them all season. I thought this couple was the more stable couple that we were going to see ride off together. But obviously they didn't make it. And yeah, it's not a problem. They'll both go out and find other partners out there. It just wasn't meant to be for them.
So I think, you know, we just need to go back to definitions, because some words, I guess, are triggering, just like combative was triggering. So maybe we'll just reset a little and define respect, right? So it's a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. To admire someone deeply. Respect also means that you accept somebody for who they are, even when they're different from you or you don't agree with them, right? So I don't think, and I didn't get it like Aries is like, I think you're less of. It's like, we're very different people, and I'm not going to be able to respect you in a relationship, and you deserve someone that respects you, right? And I just think it is what it is. I mean, we can't just, it's not like, I just don't think, and hey, this could be my bias coming out because I know her a bit, right? So I never got the feeling like, oh, she's taking a dig at him. She's just making her point plain. We are 2 very different people. We want different things. And what you're telling me right now, and what I've seen from you based on time and space, you're not going to be able to give me what I want to feel comfortable in a relationship. So I'm not going to look at you and be admired. It's not about the money. She's not calling him broke. So let's just move away from that. She's never said that. She said stability, right? So he was all over the place. He can have money, but still be unstable. You can be wealthy, but be unstable. So at the end of the day, that's the word she chose. Look, people choose different words all the time. We're going to fight about her saying she doesn't respect him. Okay, we could have a tete-a-tete about that all day long. But at the end of the day, they don't align. And I think, like, at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what dating is about. Dating is about getting to know someone and seeing if you 2 can align and are good fits. And sometimes you need to be honest and get to a point, especially if one person is thinking one thing and the other is thinking another. Somebody has to say it, because if they don't say it, you 2 are going to drag this on. What does stability mean? Do I need to define that too? It means having a plan. It means being consistent, right? It means I can rely on you. I can count on the fact that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. I can count on the fact that you have a clear plan. When they talked about his baby mother situation and that dynamic, he didn't have a clear, he was like, she's going to do what she's going to do, but I'm not worried about it. That's how does that give somebody confidence, right? Put the shoe on the other foot. At the end of the day, if I'm dating a woman that has children, and I ask her, hey, listen, what's the relationship with the kid's father? You know, how's he gonna be once we get serious and we all meet? Listen, he can do whatever he wants to do, but I'm fine. No, that is uncomfortable for me. Because at the end of the day, if I'm walking into World War III, I need to know that. And you also, as the other person that's co-parenting, needs to have conditions in place. And he did not have that. He just said, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and it's going to be okay. Versus Moriorior, on the other end, when he was asked about it, and I'm just being funny, I know his name is Morier. When he was asked about it, he had a much better answer. He said, we co-parent well. We work together well. It's not going to be a problem. I'm going to have my son, and we're going to go to Africa. Now, listen, whether we have confidence in the plan is another thing, but he has one, right? He has a plan. He knows that he's worked out the dynamic with him and his, child's father, and they're working together. So, my thoughts.
I think she used the right word, because she's not going to respect him, and that's just the honest truth. I can't give Aries a pass on that. It's just the reality of the situation. The latent thoughts that she had came out at that point in time. She's not going to respect him, right? Because the word should have been, I can't trust your leadership. That's what it should have been. If you want to talk about stability, the word she should have used was, I can't trust your leadership, because I feel like you're all over the place. That would have been an explanation about the way that you're presenting yourself and presenting a lack of a plan. But to use the words, I'm not going to respect you, I think it's very telling. I just got to keep it real. I think it's very, very telling, and very, very, real in that moment, which is there's a lack of respect for Phil. This is why the relationship didn't go nowhere. You know what I mean? This is why the relationship didn't go nowhere, because there's a lack of respect. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't play his part. I'm not saying that he, you know what? I still have an issue with the fact that if you are asked for a plan, you can't give your plan. And, you talk about leadership, and when you're explaining leadership, it doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound very well. It doesn't sound very good. Then I can understand that. I wasn't agreeing with him at the family day. He should have given a better explanation of the leadership aspect. But my thing is and not even just that. I think the leadership aspect also was very telling. I honestly do believe it was very telling, because his answer is exactly what I believe that she doesn't respect. See, I think the reality of the situation is the kind of person she wants, or kind of man that she wants, is someone that is going to sit up, take charge, and give the answer that Jay gave. Now, his answer wasn't wrong. His answer was for the wrong person. It's not wrong to be a collaborative, democratic type of leader. There are many women who also want that democratic kind of conservative type of way of doing leadership. There are people who like that, which is never a problem. Never a problem at all. And there's other women who too want a man that says, I'm going to take charge. I have a vision that I'm following and I'm running after. This is the vision. You get on board, right? And I'm willing to have conversation about it, whatever, but this is where I'm running to, right? So when he gave his answer, you could see that when he gave that answer, there was no embrace. And it's not because the answer is a bad one. It's because it does not align with what I believe they know Aries to be wanting and what she requires from an individual person. Hence why at the end, and I'm sure, yes, I know she spoke about editing, and they might have pressured the conversation to keep on going more and more. But the conversation, if it was going more and more, and I had word from, if the conversation is going more and more, right? And you're talking more and more and more and more, and they're forcing the conversation. Why do you get to the point where you say you don't respect? Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, Sean, if we get talking all the time, right? We get into several arguments. You're never gonna hear me say I don't respect Sean, because I do respect Sean. It's never gonna come out of my mouth. Now I might say me and Sean have some combative moments, because we do. We're gonna tussle, we're gonna fight a little bit, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have those moments. But I ain't never gonna tell you I don't respect you. Do you see what I'm saying to you? It's never gonna come out of my mouth, because I don't feel that in my heart at all. So the reality of the situation is she did feel that she could not respect his leadership, could not respect him. Now, maybe not respect him as a man, but could not respect him as a leader of her home. That's where the respect is that she couldn't bring to the table.
Yeah,
But
I
she
didn't
meant
think
what
she
she
chose
said.
the wrong word. Yeah, I don't think she chose the wrong word at all. No, that's why I defined it. That's why I defined it and gave those scenarios, because that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about, it's not like she thinks he's less of a person. She cannot be on the same page with him. She doesn't respect him to be the man that she can fall in love with and trust to be her partner and then potential husband down the line. Yeah, I don't think she chose the wrong word, or I'm not trying to make that impression. I think she chose the right word, and that's how she felt. I think we are attaching an emotional connection with what it means to be respected by somebody and saying like, oh, so that means she's going to disrespect him. No, she's just saying, I don't respect your leadership style. It doesn't agree with me, and it's not going to work for me. Is it harsh? Yeah, it's harsh. It's a harsh word. It's a harsh thing to hear. Nobody wants to hear it. But it is what it is. And for those that are saying I'm biased, you wouldn't know if I didn't tell you. You get what I'm saying? So there's not that much bias in it, because if I didn't want to say my connection or, how I know her to an extent, then you would know. So I'm really not that biased, to be honest, because I'm telling you, yeah, there is a connection and there's a part of me that does know a little bit of her. So I can, it is going to color my opinion, but I'm telling you. So, stop it with I'm capping for her. No, I'm not, because you guys are saying whatever you want to say about her. That's your opinion. And this is mine. So I just think like we all can have different opinions. I don't think it's something that needs to be it's not something so polarizing, right? There are two people that don't work for each other. And in my opinion, prior to even the respect word being thrown out, I've been saying this for weeks. Many of us on this panel have been saying this for weeks, that it's just his answers are a little shaky. He's not consistent. He's a little all over the place, and I think that's just what we can see. We have to be able to call people out. Like, come on, we're not gonna, just because somebody is on the surface a nice person, I don't think that Phil is a bad person, but I think there's things that he needs to work on. And the last thing I'll say is, like, in the ending, when he was like, I am ready to love, I would just disagree. I think no matter who you're going to be with, whether you're a collaborative leader or not, and yes, I even said this in the comments, there's going to be some women where that leadership style works, and it's fine. So his leadership style is not the issue, but having a plan is. And being like Sandria said, a leaf floating in the wind, that does not work. It just doesn't work. So I think you do need to have some stability, and you do need to have a plan if you are making major changes in your life.
Facts. I'll say this, as far as how I viewed the respect, that's my personal thing. That's why I brought my work situation into it. Like, I can't respect a leader of anything that doesn't know how to lead. That's just me. That's how I am. And if it's not that I can't respect them as a person or a human being, I just don't respect their leadership abilities for me. Going back to another reason why I can see respect being lost, and Sean, you brought it up, the baby mama situation. As a person who worked hard to build a functioning co-parenting situation with mine, I don't want to walk into a disaster or chaos or whatever it is, a whatever situation with somebody else and their baby mama, baby, whatever. I don't want to do it. So if you sit here and say, oh, well, she's going to feel how she feels. Yes, she's going to feel how she feels, but is there going to be some like boundaries in place on how far she can feel how she feel? Can she come all the way up in my face and tell me how she feel? Or can she feel that at her house or whatever, is she going to make her child feel that way too? And now I have to deal with her child, or can we sit down and get a mutual understanding with one another? Is there something there that you two have in place for me to feel secure enough to say, okay, I want to blend families? Y'all know my story. I said I made it a point when my daughter's father got serious about his ladies in his life. I wanted to meet them because these women are going to be involved in my daughter's life. I don't want to meet them to bring chaos. I want to meet them so we can have an understanding how to parent my child. We have children involved. It's not about us no more. So I cannot sit here. I can feel whatever I want to feel about this lady, but I need to feel it in person so I know if this is a good person to be having my child around or not. If I don't like it, that's a conversation between me and her father, but I cannot put any boundaries up on what he does with his life. I have to respect whoever he brings into his life. But as the mother of his child, he has to respect me as well, and allow me that grace to sit here and meet whoever's going to be up into my child's face day in, day out. And for me, that answer that Phil gave would never work. I'm just sorry. It just would not work because I need to know. I would prefer the answer that Marie gave over the answer that Phil gave. You know, you might not like the control word of it, but I kind of understood where he was coming from. I can control the situation. I would prefer that. You just tell me that, then just to tell me, well, she gonna feel whatever she feels, so I can't really do nothing about it. So she can control your relationships. That's what that comes off to me. She can control and dictate how your relationship's gonna go whenever she wants to, because she don't like who you bring into your life. Oh, okay, well, enough said. Cool. Can't respect that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how Super Mario keeps coming up in this conversation, because he just says whatever sounds cool to Jessica. Like, he ain't got no plan. The plan was to move to Mali.
Lie confidently like Marie. That's what I need, that confidence.
Yeah, listen, he's confidently talking about he wants to go to Mali, or he wants some tamales, or he wants to move to Ghana, Nigeria, dual citizenship, and all this other stuff. And he's got crystals. Then he wants to look. I would prefer Phil keep it real rather than just go with the wind and change whenever that blows and say whatever he feels like Aries wants to hear. I'd rather him be truthful and honest. And I just think if someone says to you that they're not going to be able to respect you, they may not mean no disrespect, but the disrespect will soon follow, because there is no respect there. So that's what will come next. So I'm glad she was up front and she definitely stuck to her guns. And I feel like he made a valiant effort. All that foot rubbing and trying to, smooth his way in there and show that he's an affectionate guy or whatever he was trying to prove. I think he made a valiant effort. He was one of the better guys on the show. Not problematic. But like you said, the instability was a factor, and it was something for the last 3 episodes that she kept going back to. And ultimately, that's what she based her decision on. So can't knock her for that. And like I said, I can't knock him for trying and hoping that there would be something there. I'd rather somebody hope and try rather than give up completely and start talking a load of fluff like your boy Super Mario, who we're going to get into very soon.
So can I ask a question? Because I'm just curious for some of the people that are on the other side of this. What would you have us to say? Like, what do you think this is? Like, what are we missing? What do you think I'm missing? Because I think they just don't work out, and she doesn't like him, and she doesn't feel like she can respect his leadership. Is it harsh? I've said, yeah, it was harsh. It's hard to hear that. It is tough. I get it. What else are we missing? I just want to understand, like, what are we missing? Like, what else is there? Is there something about her? And this is great. Like, we spent a whole 30 minutes talking about Janelle and Q. And nobody said, oh, y'all are biased. This, that, or the third. because we were giving them, giving our honest opinion about what we thought. So what would you like us to say? What would you like me to say? That she's horrible for not choosing Phil. She's the worst person in the world for saying that she doesn't respect him.
I wouldn't be saying that. I don't think she's a horrible person at all. But again, I'm gonna be biased because I've also met her as well. But what I will say is, and I want to keep it 100 a buck. What I will say is, I think saying that money is not an issue, or the way that money appears to be, is slightly off the mark. I think it's part of it. Number two, I definitely agree with the comment about the baby mother situation. That is icky. I can't lie to you. When he said, and that can lead to the "I don't respect you" kind of comment too, because if you say to me that anything goes, you know what I mean, she gonna behave how she gonna behave, yeah, you setting yourself up, because you basically telling me anything can happen, and I'm that wasn't for me. That wasn't good leadership, and that wasn't even you being protective of the person that you're going to be in a relationship with, and that means I could be thrown into a dangerous baby mama situation, right? So I don't understand why he didn't correct that, and didn't see why that was an issue. His answer was problematic for me, so I would say that first. But I think with the Aries and the Phil situation, I think so what it was given, let me be real, what is given, right, is, and if I remember correctly, if I've listened to some of her interview with Crystal and listened to some of the other things that she's done, Aries seems to have in the past maybe not dated at her level, right? The men tend to be they're not on their level, you know what I mean? Let's just keep it a buck. The projects, they tend to be that hasn't been on her level, right? And she tends to look at the individual's heart, the way they are, etc., etc. She takes that into account when she's choosing someone. It's almost as if she had a regressive moment with Phil. When I mean regressive, what I mean by that is she almost opened herself up to do the same thing again. Now, she has a certain lifestyle that she likes, and that's what I'm saying to her, to keep it real. Because to say that money's not a part of it, it absolutely is. Because if it wasn't, let's go ahead. You and Phil are perfect. Y'all get on. He foot rubs. You're good. Energy live. Everything crispy. Baby mother situation. We can work that out. You know what I mean? But there's a lifestyle issue here. Difference as well. Or a lifestyle that you want. And it's not just the money, but it's also the way that you're living your life. And I think it's what Sean is also alluding to, and Jay's alluding to as well. That at this particular moment right now, you're not inspiring me, because, and that's why I said that it's not this. He has a job already. He's stable in his job, but you're not inspiring me because you want to do several things. And as I did a video the other day, and I quoted the video that she talked in another show, was a talk with Slana. She quoted that there were several things that he had not been successful at. That's where the respect is. You don't believe he's gonna make it. Let's just keep it a buck, because the guy's got a stable job. The job is stable. It's giving an income, right? But you are talking about stability, because, and here's the thing, and that's what I mentioned, and someone said it doesn't make sense. I said, no, but it does. Like, you look at someone like Shaq, right? Basketball player. Do you know how many things he's got going on? Do you want to call him stable? Of course he's stable, because obviously the amount of money he makes, but the amount of things that he's doing at the same time, right? But the reason why it's stable is because it's successful. So it looks stable because it's successful. It's just the reality of the situation. So for her, when she's looking at it, that's why the success she's looking at, I asked the question again, what will be the measure of the ventures of success that she's talking about when it comes to Phil? Does he need to make a certain amount of money from these ventures to prove it's successful? Does he need to have a certain amount of people doing something? For instance, we all joked about the comedy situation, but is it the fact that he's choosing to go into comedy that you're not sure whether he can make it as a comedian? Or I didn't see him as really funny, so I can't lie to you. I never saw any of that, you know what I mean? So I don't know where that comedy thing came from, you know what I'm saying? But is it that do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that you need to see? Because if he's at the level of Kevin Hart now, is he unstable? if he has a normal job and yet he gets the notoriety and gets the gigs like let's say for Kevin Hart or whatever. Kevin Hart's really big now, but would that be unstable still? I think there's still, for me, it's still confusing a little bit, right? I think there's several components that go into the stability that she talks about and this success that she's looking for, that to see what's actually happening as to why she's made a decision that she's made. You know what I mean? So, and I think Phil has his own issues of insecurity when he places himself up against Aries. And I think that also plays a role in the way that he reacts to her, that everything she said becomes even more heavier in what he's dealing with. Because personally, I think, Jay, you made a great point. If I'm confident in what I am, ain't nothing you're going to say to me. Listen, that's why I say to you, that's why me and Sean say, listen, don't choose me if you're not about it. But I also say this as well. If I know I'm not in your tax bracket, I don't care how confident I am. I don't want you. Do you know why? Because these stuff happens all the time. If we're in complete different tax brackets and I don't feel like I'm going to get there in a sufficient amount of time, you're going to look at me as a woman. You're going to look at me. And this is where I don't even want to call it double standards. The reality of life is, as men and women, it's going to come off in a certain way. So if I'm doing YouTube right now, relationship coaching, I have merchandise, I have other ventures that give me money, right? But to someone else, it's still not going to be enough. You understand? And that's okay. And I think that's where Phil made a mistake, right? Because you felt like she was judging you and you felt like she was kind of making it look like you're not mad, you're not enough for her. You should have been out. You should have been out. Like, you know what I mean? You should have been out before that so that you don't give her the opportunity to keep you in a place where now you've given her a baseball, a heartfelt present, which is really heartfelt, by the way. You've thought about this present. You've got her a baseball. And I didn't even know her father was a professional baseball player. With a heartfelt present, we're standing in front of you, and now she's going to tell you she don't respect it. Sorry, my mic went out. Apologies. But if that's the case, then this has started well before this point. So I'm not saying that either party is the worst. I'm just kind of you know what I mean? I would love to hear Aries break it all the way down, exactly what she means when it comes to stability and what she means when it comes to respect. So we get a full ass picture, because even the video that I reviewed, I didn't get it fully. I got part of it, but not all of it. Yeah, Sean, you want to open your mic?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I said I'm going to not try to even speak for her. I'll just tell my opinion in terms of what I think. And then when you interview her or have a conversation, then you can dive in. Everybody can dive into whatever they think or feel. I would say that just because somebody has a good paying job does not mean they're stable, right? For all theoretical purposes, I have a really good job, right? But if I'm dating somebody and I'm telling them I want to leave my job tomorrow to do something vastly different than what I'm doing today, that's not going to make that woman feel stable. And this is when it comes into, men and women are very different. So like a woman in a relationship, there was times when I was married, my wife was like, I want to quit. We talked through it, but she might have done it. And then I would have had to deal with it. Right. And we would have had to work through it together. Right. Or, if we had children, there would have been a time where she wasn't working and I would have figured it out. So, but I needed to instill that in her so that she understands like, hey, listen, you got this. And I think that's the missing part is like with Phil, and I'm not saying she wanted him to take care of her, but you can be doing well. You can live a good lifestyle. But if that can't be maintained, then that is unstable. If you're looking to do multiple different things and you don't have a clear plan, you're still unstable. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's true. Now, some people, again, like you mentioned, there's some women that don't mind that. And they're like, hey, baby, I can see the vision. I see you. I believe in you. And they can work. Steve Harvey, his current wife, Marjorie, he was like, when they met, he was down and out. But she was like, I know what you did before, and I see your potential. So you need to go and find the person that can believe in you and that can respect your plan and see your potential. But if the person can't, there's nothing wrong with somebody telling you, I don't see it. I don't see it. It's all right. Like it happens all the time. Relationships end. It's like we don't have to give people a chance that we don't want to. That's the part that I think like gets pushed, right? Like, oh, he's so good. No, but she doesn't see it in him. And I would actually prefer that. Hurt me early to let me go and move on instead of wasting my time and give me a shot knowing you really don't want it with me. Because that's what I really see as fake. You know, yeah, did she go through a 6 or 8 week process? Okay, whatever. Okay, some may disagree with that. Okay, I can be fine with that, right? However, I'd rather you let me go and not choose me because I gave you a nice gift. And just be honest with me about what your feelings are. It may hurt in the beginning, but later on down the line, I fall in love with you. I'm invested. Now I'm still trying to prove to you that I'm good enough. Like, because we see how that works, and you're always chasing a carrot because in the heart, in their core, the person really doesn't want you, and they knew it, but they dragged it on because they saw some things. And I think that's not fair to either person. And that's actually more hurtful. I'd rather know early on, like, hey, listen, I like you. And that's happened to me before. You know, I've dated somebody and they were like, listen, I like you. We have, decent chemistry, but I don't see it working. Hey, it's a dig because you were like, hey, I thought we were going to do this. I thought we were going to do that. True talk. Like, it's happened to me recently, right? But I had to just be honest and say, hey, listen, I appreciate you telling me that, right? And we move on. Now listen, what I'm not going to do, what you're not going to catch me doing is spinning the block. Because I got enough confidence in me, right? I'm not spinning the block on you. I'm not circling back. It's just we got to move. I'm moving around. And that's okay. It's okay. So look, yeah, no, don't be sorry. It's okay. This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm grown. I'm 40 plus years old. Like, I just don't think I guess maybe I'm a little, some people have different sensitivities. To me, it's like, hey, look, you don't like me, somebody else will. There's a lid for every pot. Like, hey, I'm gonna move around because somebody's gonna want this. Somebody has wanted this. Someone's have wanted this a lot in the past. So I'm not uncomfortable with the fact that particular person, it didn't work out with her. It's okay. It's cool. There doesn't need to be, oh, you hurt me. You didn't have to say that. No, you said what you felt. And that's what it is. I might not have liked it. I didn't want to hear it, but look, hey.
Yeah, I think I just come from the perspective of don't hurt me at all. Like, it's not about hurting me early or late. You can deliver your message. Like, if I've been kind, sweet, nice to you, I've brought you thoughtful gifts, rubbed your feet, with the expectation of leaving the show with you in some capacity. Like, I just think, and she knew what that word was about, right? So we don't need a dictionary definition. I know, thank you for providing it, but the fact of the matter is, if someone tells you they don't respect you, then that's it. It's a wrap from there. And it doesn't just happen overnight. This isn't just something you wake up and just say, you know what, I don't respect that person. There was no animosity between them, none. So I'm not sure how long she was feeling that, but it was a pretty I think she did give it a good shot to maybe try and respect him, but maybe sitting down with his family and the ex and her mom and sister or whatever, that just, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'll give her that grace, that benefit of the doubt. But yeah, I just feel like they're not bad people. They both have other matches potentially out there. He's got a child too. That's one thing we haven't spoken about as well. He needs to be stable for his own child as well as himself before he can accommodate her with her 2 children. And he said on a previous episode that part of the reason why he got this job that he has had for a couple of years, I think 3 or 4 years, maybe 4 years, part of that reason was because it doesn't mean he has to travel anymore. All right. He can be in one place and have a stable foundation to raise his son. So he is thinking about stability in some respects, but it just doesn't match what she's looking for. And that's okay. Just means that he's not the guy. But I just feel like it could have been delivered a bit different. That's all. She's not a bad person. Can't say I saw anything problematic about her the entire season. But on that particular way that she delivered that, I can see why he would have been crushed.
I like it. Listen, I think we've done well, in that conversation. I think we'll wait to see what both Aries and Phil come out to say. I have a feeling there's going to be a much more greater conversation after they both respectively come to tell their piece, because I think there's more that both sides are going to feel about the topic as well. So we'll look forward to hearing their thoughts on that going forward. All right, let's talk a little bit then about let's talk obviously then about Morier. We can start with Morier and Kat, and then we'll end on Jessica. So Morier and Kat, their date was quite an interesting date. We saw Morier come and meet Kat's cousin, apologies. Very beautiful cousin, by the way, as well. And they the date was very interesting, let me say that. Morier's plan, he's moving to Africa. It might be Ghana, it might be Mali, it might be Sierra Leone, it might be Nigeria, but it's going to be one of those Western African countries for sure. Whoever gives him the passport first. But no, in all honesty, watching him handle himself with Kat and the family, I felt it was really impressive. You know what I mean? That he handled himself in that particular way. The pressure was on, and the questions were asked, and he answered respectfully, and that I can always respect somebody who does that as well. What was you guys' thoughts then to Morier and the date with Kat and her cousin? I always knew that Kat, I don't think Kat was really interested in Morier like that either. Kat knows she's mean and smart. She wants to get to the end as well, because there ain't no connection there at all. I never know there's even an attraction thing. What's you guys' thoughts on Morier and Kat and her cousin as well? Yes, Jay, go for it.
I want to say this off top and off rip, and whoever takes it however they want to take it, they're going to take it. But that confidence that Morier had in this scene, regardless if the answers are a lie or truth, that's the confidence Phil needed to have. Okay? Every bit of that confidence right there, I don't care if he lied in their face. He did it with a bold face, straight up lie. And that's the confidence that he needed to have. When they asked that man to stand up, he stood up and put his chin up. Opened the chest out. Okay? It said, I'm okay with climbing trees, though I got a tree for her to climb. That right there, that y'all say what you want, but that's part of the reason why Morier, besides his alliance, is at the end. Okay? That right there. Now he telling some daggone lies. Now you trying to move to Africa, and you trying to open a restaurant, and you trying to move to Africa, and you're gonna take the son over there to get his rites of passage, and the baby mama gonna be okay with that, and this and the third, and you got control. Now all that's fluff, but he said it all with confidence. Okay, I need you to be that prepared to walk into your interview when you come to greet me and my family. That's what I need right there. Okay. So we know Morier full of it. He might have been seeing something for Kat, but Kat really ain't seeing it for him like that or whatever. The cousin was going in. The cousin was standing by this term that he's still messing with the baby mama, because she is determined to figure out how much they are like bonded. And it was this is the weird part though. This is the weird part for me with Morier. When you saying you doing all of the school activities, you taking him to the doctor, you doing all of this. This boy is what, how old? 12? Why are we doing all of this together? How do we both have this much time to be going to all the visits and stuff? One of us should be at work sometimes while the other one is going to the visit. So, Morier be embellishing the truth a whole lot. Okay. Like if we doing all of these things together, we might as well still be a couple. And I was with the cousin on that. Like, if y'all are doing all of this with the kid together all the time, y'all need to go ahead and still be a couple. Y'all need to figure out how to make it work, because y'all seem like y'all spending a whole lot of time together. Now, if any woman is going to let you up and root their child, and I'm assuming this lady's only one, sound like she might be moving with you. Now, Kat, you need to stop playing in her face, because you're going to talk about, yes, I'm willing to move. You was not willing to move all the way to some Africas when you're going to talk about, oh, well, I'm going to have to be back here all the time. You like to travel. It is not moving. You are not moving. You like to travel. There is a difference. You like to travel and come back to home. You are not trying to travel and move and stay there. Okay. So, ma'am, stop playing on her face. You was not going nowhere with no Mariés and all of that. That chicken ain't that daggone good. Okay. It is not that daggone good to move to Africa. Now, I'm trying to figure out when he get his citizenship, is he opening the restaurant here or is he opening it in Africa? Where are we opening this restaurant? Okay. It takes some time to have a restaurant set up and be established. It usually takes about 5 years to start generating income from what all you put into your restaurant, depending on who you got invested in it and all this and the third. Now, I'm trying to figure out if he got some investors down in Africa, maybe so. I have not been. Kojo, tell me in Ghana, can he get away with some drunken wings down there? Would they be able to work down there? I'm not really sure. I know I see you frying wings all the time, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be like us Americans and our chicken or not. I'm just asking. If it is, then he might have a shot down there. Okay. All I'm gonna say is, I can't believe Mario on anything he does, but that chicken. But his confidence in this scene was every bit of what we needed out of a man trying to meet the family, because he was saying, listen, I feel like I could fit in with this family over here and I could fit over there. I need Paul to hang out with Mario a little bit, build up some of that confidence, and then go call Red and link with all the many connections Red got, so we can get you on them stages with all the comedians Red know, because Red know everybody. So please call Red and link with him. And we got to figure out how to get Messy Mario not to be like embellishing the truth so much. And yeah, you know, not the little engine that could. Don't write this stuff when I'm speaking, because you know I'm gonna say it. And they'd have called Mario the little engine that could. We'll get to him when we get to Jessica and him in that daggone pinstripe suit. What was that candy stripe suit he had on?
Y'all better leave his pinstripe. You better leave his pinstripe suit alone.
I just want to know. He looked like he stepped off the ice cream truck.
Because he out here looking sweet. He said he gonna
looking like he on Willy Wonka Chapter 7.
You better leave my boy alone. He confident in his sweetness. Okay,
sweetness. He really was though. He really did, didn't he? He walked in there like there was some fashions.
He was like, nah. I tell y'all, listen, I'm confident in my sweetness. I'm gonna bring my game up. That's what gave him the confidence. Y'all don't even know. Yeah, it's a confident brother, and I love it. Who wants to go next? JR, Sean, who wants to go first? Who wants to take their pick? Go for it, JR.
I think Morier does have a high self-esteem, high self-efficacy, high self-confidence, because, you know, like Jay said, he came in dressed like Colonel Sanders, some of them in his outfit there, right? So I think he is confident in himself, but when you speak about the plan that he has going forward, I just don't see how he's been able to convince Jessica or Kat, who are both solid in their careers, that this move is going to be a viable thing for them going forward. Like, I don't know if he's been out there before and he's done much research to any of these places, and I'm not even sure if they have. So for them to just jump crest of a wave and be like, yeah, I'm going with wherever Morier wants to settle down and place his hat, not sure I'm buying it, man. But he definitely is confident. I'll give him that. And, you know, his story's changed over the season as to where he wants to land. I think that the connection with Katerina is purely a spiritual one, not necessarily a physical one, not a sexual one, anything like that. I think she was just searching for, you know, a loose end that maybe she can try and see if something works with. And I think he's trying to get into Jessica's good books, but at the same time trying to have more than one connection just to make sure he's safe from elimination. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen with him and Jessica, but I definitely didn't see it for him and Kat. That's for sure. And I think it was a little bit disrespectful, or could be seen as disrespectful, when the friend asked him to stand up next to her. No, I thought, you know what, that's such a disrespectful thing. I'm not sure if he was aware of what that could have been, could have looked like or been construed as, but yeah, he was still confident, sat down with it, didn't have a problem with it. So he just, you know, he seemed more angry at Chris in lives than he did about any shots that were being taken at him.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. He definitely handled her cousin very, very well. She was funny in the beginning, but then she got a little she got a little rude. She got a little slash a lot of rude. The standing up was kind of like, ooh, yeah, that was, I cringed a little bit when she asked him to do that. But listen, you got to give credit where credit is due. I might not agree with some of the things that he's done, how he's, you know, talking behind the scenes and doing all this other stuff, but he definitely handled himself very well when it came to that cousin. He didn't lose his cool, you know, and that's how, you know, that's how you handle yourself in those situations, because it didn't look like he didn't sweat out his S curl at all. He was like, "You're not gonna sweat these waves out, lady, with your foolishness," you know. And she definitely, you know, gave him the business in several different ways, and he handled it. Now, do we believe it? Hey, listen, I think confidence is a part of it. So, like what Jay was saying, that's the energy that Phil needs to have, right? That's not all the energy that Phil would need to have. That is a part of the energy that he would need to have. That is something that we as men need to have, right? We need to be confident. Confident doesn't mean cocky. Confident doesn't mean arrogant, but it means the ability to stand firm in who you are and not be unmoved by other people. Hey, and confidence goes a long way. Y'all ladies tell us all the time, listen, I didn't like him at first, but the confidence won me over. It was that energy, right? So I think that is where he won in this scenario. Now you have to have the skill set and the wherewithal and the knowledge to back up your confidence, right? Because then the confidence fades and then there's nothing behind it, right? So I'm not saying that's all you need is confidence. Clearly, we need more than that. So I think, yeah, the proof remains to be seen. I don't see these two have a connection. I think they connect on some things foundationally, like spiritually. Kat's kind of open. Morier is, you know, definitely open, right? So I think they align on that. And they also align on Kat don't want no kids. You know, Kat don't want no kids. I don't care how she spends it. You know, if you say, if the woman who has to bear the burden of having children says, if I'm with somebody that don't want kids, I'm good. And if I'm with somebody that does, maybe, you know, I'm willing. That means you don't want children. Okay. Code for I don't want kids. Right. So that part they align on because he's fine with the one. Now, where there's problems, and I guess we'll talk about it later, is Morier and Jessica don't align on that front. Because Morier is really fine with the one, I believe, son that he has at this point. So you know, I know a couple of people said it in the comments too, which I think was hilarious. It was just kind of like Kat just disappeared. She met with the cousin and then poof, she was going.
They said they going out and she never came back in.
Exactly. Kat was here and Kat wasn't. Bye. So I guess that's where their connection went. She didn't even make it to the bridge to sit and wait for him not to be there. It was a dunzo. So those are my thoughts. But yeah, I think, listen, he handled himself very well. Those two are not in each other's lane, I don't think. I mean, again, some people, they could be friends. I see them as nice friends, but I don't see them as in a dating relationship together.
I guess we can move on to him and Jessica. Oh, you're back. Okay.
Oh, you go for it. You can go. Yeah. I mean, we can move on to the next one. Sorry, we can move on to the next one. Before we do, let me just say, guys, if you're here, we got 650 guys in here, and ladies as well. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you guys who are joining us for the first time. Don't forget to subscribe, be a part of the team, be a part of the family. And I see that the chat's firing up as always, and it's fun, good energy in there. So keep that up as well, because we like to keep it cute and classy around here. All right. And if you haven't done so already as well, join the membership. It's £1. It's $1. It means you get to be a part of the membership only lives as well that we have every other week. And if you haven't done so, join the Patreon, because that will allow you to have the Discord. And if you need a place where you can talk about TV shows and you want to get your thoughts off, and you just watch the show and you're like, I need somewhere to release my thoughts, then the Discord is going to be the place for you as well. Description box will have the link for you guys as well. Don't forget to subscribe. All right, listen, let's get to the next part. The last part of it, which was Moriah and Jessica. They had their particular date, and Jessica's friend was very much more, she was warm. I can't lie to you. Jessica's friend was very warm. I was like, what did Jessica tell her? I know Jessica told her before, listen, hey, bitch, we're trying to get to the end. So make sure he chooses me. She was very warm, very inviting. He came in the room, she hugged him. She stood up, she hugged him, she showed respect. Because some people's cousins don't show respect. They don't get up when you come in the room. But so literally, she got up, she hugged him, and then had a pleasant conversation with Moriah. At one point, I almost fell for the lie. At one point, I was like, wow, maybe Moriah and Jessica could work. Maybe she like a little teddy bear, because she has told us she does like that kind of man. She has said she doesn't like that kind of man too. So it wouldn't be out of her remit. So I was a little bit, for a second I was thrown off. I was like, "Ooh, this might be the one." Yeah. So it wasn't the case in the situation. I think that there was a bit of a play game there, but it is what it is. What's you guys' thoughts, and ladies? What's your thoughts as well to this particular love affair between Moriah and Jessica? Because the kiss on the forehead as well at a bridge, beautiful, just so scintillating and so warm and so endearing. What's you guys' thoughts?
That was very becoming of a first lady and the deacon, a kiss on the forehead or whatnot. Somebody made a point to remind me that she said she don't like PDA and she working on her PDA. But baby, if you my man, I think we can do at least a peck on the lips or something. Like I don't want you kissing me on my head, my forehead. You kissing on my makeup. What? Say what now? What is this? What are we doing? Okay. I was just trying to figure out if we trying to have a best man moment, and he was working on getting her moist that way or something. I don't know. Maybe that could be it. I mean, I was with y'all at the table. I was with y'all at the table with the cousin. I was like, this could possibly be something. And then we got to the bridge, and then it just was giving me that you belong to my homeboy, but y'all going through a breakup right now. And I'm trying to just see, I'm just trying to ease your pain. So I'm still trying to figure it out. And then we're going to only find out that they're still working on a friendship when we're supposed to be working on a relationship at some point. I don't understand. But whatever she told the cousin before she walked in must have did something for the situation. All I know is she chose this cousin because both her and Moriah had kids. She had kids, Moriah had kids, and she had named some other odd reason why she chose this cousin to meet Moriah. I was like, okay, I don't understand how this makes any sense. Yet the cousin don't ask about a lot of the stuff. We're okay with moving to Africa, but I could have swore she wasn't trying to move nowhere. She, she just getting her business footed, but her business can go anywhere. She does have a coffee company, so it can go anywhere, but you getting it into the stores and all this. I just don't know how you're going to be doing business elsewhere. Like Sean mentioned already, she wants a big family, and Moriah is kind of cool where he's at with his. So nothing is lining up for y'all to have chose each other at the end. I really thought she was going to come to the end and say, you know what, I'm good, I choose me, but she didn't. And so that shocked the heck out of me. I ain't gonna lie, I was shocked on that one. Yeah, I'm not even sure why I got to sit here and deal with this, because Janelle and her are friends and they just wanted to make it to the end, and they done figured out how to do that. And Marie is just a little puppet under Jessica's wing that she just strings along, and he's like a little puppy dog that just follows her around. But he didn't have no other connection anyway, because Kat really wasn't there for him, and he know for sure if they got to the bridge with Kat, and that was a definite choose myself situation. So he picked the right one out of the two for him to get chosen at the end. Again, his confidence outshined through the date, though. He was on top of all the answers, and confidently saying what he needs to be said. But of course, when you're gonna lie your way through a situation, you got to be confident in your lie. You can't be shaking your lie now. So as we start tapping on that glass, you done messed up, right? So he didn't get that. He did good, but I can't even pretend like this is a real thing. I'm sorry. I just really cannot pretend like these people are real at the end and they're really trying to have a relationship. She might get on these platforms and these interviews and say she like fluffy guys and all this stuff like that. And she probably actually do. But I really don't feel like anything that he said was lining up to her. She said she can't be bought when it came to the Lee and Chris situation. However, he bought her a candle. Marie bought her a candle and she was back in. Yeah, okay. She gave him a -10 when he asked, or was -2, whatever, Sean, when he asked her where we stand, and she was like, it's on the negative side. And then she brought it back up to a 10 real quick when she realized the cameras were still rolling. Jess, baby girl, you do not want this man. So stop getting on these interviews and saying you like say what you like, because if you like the fluffy types, that's fine. But Marie is not the one for you. Marie is not the one. He wants to do the crystals and the cars, and you want to be in the house of the Lord. That's not going to work. And I don't care how much you studied back in the day and you've been to other religions. Once you pick your religion as a grown adult, generally you stand on that. And she made that comment, so I'm assuming that's where she stands in Christianity. So we're not about to be playing with Marie and all his tarot cards and stuff, because he's still trying to find his way right now. Now, if you want to be his spiritual guide and help him back to Christianity, that's fine. That's cool. And y'all can do it within the friendship of it all. But y'all have nothing more than a friendship. And that's where that stands. So we'll see at the reunion. They're going to continue to play in our face. Yay.
Yeah, I'm not buying a romantic connection at all. I know Jessica previously said she doesn't do PDA. So being at the bridge, that's going to be a huge public opportunity in front of cameras, in front of everybody, seeing them reach to the end. Why would you want to reach the end when you're not feeling the person in terms of the physical attraction, not even enough to even want to kiss the person? It doesn't make sense. You want to get to the end and I think that forehead kiss was, that was probably too much for her as well, like, to be honest. So yeah, I just don't see it. He's fluctuated between at least 3 countries that he wants to settle in. Now, I can kind of see why she would entertain it, but I just don't see why she would do it. She's in the coffee business. There are parts of Africa that have, they're known as coffee powerhouses, like Ethiopia, a few other places. I do know that. A lot of Somalians drink coffee, like here in London, they got coffee shops and all that type of stuff. So there are parts of Africa where she could do really well for her business. But in terms of settling there long term for love, I don't see the connection there that makes me believe that's viable. So that's what I got.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, yeah, I think I'm with you guys. I don't see where Jessica and Marie connect, really. I think what really threw me off was the Faith situation. You know, I know she said she's open. She's learned about other faiths, but baby, are you Christian or you're not? Are you open or you're not open? Which one is it? You know, because I need to understand, because Maury is selling us tarot cards, readings, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know how you can even come back from that, because if someone did that, if a girl says to me she's gonna do tarot cards, there's no comeback from that. I'm like, all right, babe, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But you just told me where you stand, and that's okay. There's no beef. So for her to come back and be in alignment with Maury again, don't make no sense to me. But I think more importantly, you know, it was another opportunity for Jessica and Janelle to go to the end, and you know, show that they were wanted and desired, you know, and they weren't rejected like other people before them, you know. But the reality of the situation is, this show, you don't mean wheat when you make it to the end, because we can see whether you have a guy to a connection or not. And I didn't really see the connection between herself and Maury. I don't think it was anything there other than, like you guys have said, a friendship. And the fact that you guys are still working on a friendship as well. Like, I was like, yo, like, so you're not working on a romantic aspect, you're working on a friendship. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Say y'all don't want to be in a relationship without saying you don't want to be in a relationship. It's very clear that this relationship that you guys have is not going to be leading to a romantic one. But shout out to Maury for being a pawn in the game, and you know, being the chess piece that, you know, Jessica can move. And I'm sure Jessica would probably say it has nothing to do with her. She never influenced Maury to do anything, because really and truly, you know, she just stood there, and Maury just wanted to do this all because of her, you know, because he just because he wanted to, you know. But yeah, I personally think it's a shambles. Go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not to drag Respect Gate, right? But I think this is an example of somebody not respecting somebody, but still staying in it with them, because she clearly she dismissed him when he was sliding down the wall at the resort that they went on, and he was crying in the shower, and he had to be consoled by his brethren because he used the word combative, right, in the elimination. Meanwhile, Jessica still didn't go home. You know, can we just talk about that? Like, why he needed to slide down the wall and be so distraught, that still fathoms me to this day. So I'm hoping you'll get an interview with him, Kojo, and we could just get to the bottom of why it was such an emotional situation. And maybe I've just become hardened, because even watching Love is Blind, I don't understand how these people are loving on each other day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and crying and sliding down couches and walls. I don't get it. So exactly, Jeff, please don't disturb. So look, I don't think she respects him. She say to him when she spoke to him after she got upset about him misusing the word combative, because she's really not combative, right? And she said, I think we've just come to an impasse. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not using her words, but she was like, I think we're done. Like something pretty much like that. I just realized, like, I thought that was it. I thought that was the grand finale. I thought we were closing the chapter in the book and moving on. But here they are walking down the bridge together. I don't get it. It is mysticizing to me. That must have been in the tarot cards, that they were going to walk down that bridge. And she was like, I got to. In the crystal he gave me, in them tarot cards, I was seen walking down this bridge, and I have to walk into my destiny, because I don't understand why she was there. Her body wasn't there. Her energy wasn't there, but she was there. Like when she slid her head down for him to kiss the top of her forehead. Now, yes, forehead kisses are endearing, but nah, we all know the Ready to Love. When you get to that bridge, we kissing in the mouth. Okay, I chose you. Even Janelle and Q understood that assignment, and his goofy self. Come here, girl. Come here. I'm gonna give me them lips. You know, he got that kiss. Go, Q. You got them lips. Okay, so for him to be kissing on her forehead, the top of her bang, the top of her head, the side of her kiss, and then what killed me, listen, if we are dating, don't you dare pat my back when I hug you. Don't give me this. I don't even want that from my mama, truth to be told. I don't want my mom to pat my back. Don't pat my back when I'm hugging you, okay? Because that's telling me you're doing too much. That's like the universal sign for back. Okay, so if y'all go back and look, he went to Pat with the sideways church hug, and she was like, okay, easy on the hug, brother. Because that told me, I don't want you trying to kiss. I don't want you linked up. I don't want the body language. You know, it was funny to watch. I'm telling you, Jessica don't play. I wouldn't mess with her because she was like, brother, you got one more time to try to kiss me somewhere and you about to get a headbutt. I think the head kiss was a misplaced headbutt. She was about to be like, pow, get closer. And that's it. I'm done.
Not the bang. Oh, Sean said, would y'all please stop looking like a 90s music video on the walls, slide down on the walls? JR, say what you gotta say. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I listen, I think she would have been cool with the air kiss, the corporate moi, both sides. That would have been more what she had been accustomed to. I just don't see an attraction there. She just doesn't seem comfortable expressing physically her like for someone she's supposedly connected with. And this connection has been brewing supposedly since her and Chris fell out. So it's had a few episodes now, and he met the folks. So I'm expecting a lot more closeness. And you know, if she has to force herself to do that, or she has to bring herself, you know, psych herself up to do these type of things, yeah, it's giving very wet, very boring. I just don't see it. No shade to them, you know, but the connection that I'm expecting to see would have been more like Phil and Aries, would have been more touchy-feely, romantic gestures, things of that nature. I ain't see nothing, unless he been bringing her them secret stash of wings with the special sauce or whatever. And you know, I don't know how they arrived here, to be honest, other than the fact that he defended her to a degree over the Chris thing, even though he was the one that instigated the whole thing. So
I don't know, just to hone back in what Sean said about the respect thing. That's what she had mentioned. Somebody put in the chat that she said she don't trust him by it. And one thing for sure, if I don't trust you, it's hard to have respect for you. You know what I'm saying? Them two things kind of go hand to hand with one another. You know, if I trust you, their respect should come, and vice versa. So yeah, I agree, Sean. The lack of trust, the lack of respect was definitely there. That's why she almost headbutted and he got a forehead kiss or whatnot. He had to stop her head real quick. It was getting close. And to bring it in. But I'm saying, she in her heels and she's standing over Marie. How you missed this? It got all the way up here. I really don't know. So she was on her way to a oh man prayer, like, and he got a forehead kiss. So I don't understand. We ready for friends, y'all. This is ready for friends. Okay, we ready to be friends. This ain't ready to love no more.
Any last thoughts, guys? Because we're wrapping up. So any last thoughts on this? Because I think that's it, isn't it? There's nothing else.
Just let Sean say everything he said for the benediction. That was great. He replay everything Sean. Let's go out with the bang.
Just replay what you said again, Sean. That's what they're saying. If that's the case, all right, Sean, give us a benediction, baby. We out here.
All right. So listen, in Ready to Love, we got to be ready to tell the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts, right? That's a song. That's a good song. So listen, sometimes the truth hurts. I guess we can debate if it's harsh, if we could choose better words. But if the words fit, sometimes they fit, right? And it's up to us what we do with it. But at the end of the day, we'll take honesty over dishonesty. We'll take, understanding who someone is versus not, or going along to get along. Also, listen, don't align with people on negative traits, right? You want to build a relationship on a solid foundation on goodness, right? On things that can help and elevate you, right? We for those of us that believe in the Bible and read the word, we know that iron sharpens iron, right? You know, wood and iron don't go together, right? You know, because one is gonna tear up the other. You know, two pieces of wood not really going to necessarily work well together. We need that iron to sharpen the iron. So people should align, relationships should align based on two people being able to build with each other and help each other, right, in a positive way. Also, listen, if you don't want me, don't talk to me, don't pat me, okay? Don't pat me. I don't want no pats in relationship. We don't want pats in relationship. We want genuineness. We want chemistry. We want energy. Doesn't mean you need to go all the way. Doesn't mean you need to cross boundaries. Doesn't mean you need to slob anybody down, but don't pat them, right? And by patting, I think we mean don't pacify someone in a relationship. If you don't want them, let them go. Right? You know, if they're not it for you, don't drag them along, because that doesn't do anybody anything well either. Back to you, Coach.
We appreciate that, Sean. Thank you very much for the benediction. Listen, guys, ladies, if you haven't done so already, make sure you're liking the video, you're sharing, and you're subscribing to the channel. We had over 650 of you guys come through, and we appreciate it. And we appreciate your support. Obviously, in the coming weeks, obviously, we've got the reunion coming up, and then we'll also go straight into Ready to Move. Oh my God, going to Ready to Move. So be ready for that. It looks like they're not letting us rest this winter period of time. They say they want to see us be choked on this type of content. So we're hoping for a better show next season. Because I'm sure the Dallas version, the Dallas Part 2 will be either out maybe end of the year or next year. So we're going to look forward to some, I think, panels for the next kind of couple of months, I guess, as well. So it's going to be an interesting time. And we will have a panel for Love is Blind on Thursday. That will be the conclusion of the first 4 episodes. So that's the Thursday. Sorry, tomorrow, because tomorrow's Tuesday, right? Yeah, my bad. I'm losing track of time. Tuesday. So yeah, tomorrow we'll have the Love is Blind live as well for you guys. Getting ourselves ready for episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8. I watched episode 3 and up. I've watched a little bit of episode 4, and it's crazy. So we look forward to discussing that going forward as well. All right. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. You click on that bell button. You and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Okay. All right. I mean, I'm gonna keep it all the way true. All right. We appreciate you guys, and let me leave on.
Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Shout out to Inyala, you know, Inyala. All right. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. See you again soon.